You're from Kerala.
Yeah.
Then now, क्या क्या है? ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस मत करना, मैं भेज दूँगी। ओके ठीक है, कल मैं भेज दूँगी, ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस मत करना।
Okay, thank you. ये नहीं है, ये नहीं है, ये क्या? दूसरा लगा कोई मेरे से काम लो तो बोल के उनका
नहीं, उनका बैठ हो जाएगा। जी सर। Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. I am going to have a brief talk on that audit on NPS Light, NPS ACM, and Atal Pension Yojana, and NPS also. So, as we all know that as per PFRDA mandate, because we are providing the external services, we are providing the services for NPS Light, Atal Pension Yojana, and NPS ACM also for the non-government employees. So as per PFRDA mandate, it is to be audited by external auditor. But and NPS is for government employees, so it is anyway it is to be audited by the internal auditor as well as by the external auditor also. But for NPS Light, NPS Atal Pension Yojana and NPS ACM, because these are for, we are working as the agency and for non-government employees. So for, as per PFRD mandate, we have to do the mandatory audit for that also. And accordingly, we issued one OM that is dated 26 October 2021, and it was mandated that we will have to conduct the audit for all three services. As per this OM, this audit was to be conducted on a monthly basis as well as on annual basis. Though as per PFRDA mandate for NPS Light, the report is to be sent half yearly, and for ACF and APY, it is annual. And as per this mandate, the audit reports were asked from the PA office for NPS Light, for NPS ACM. And we sent the report for 2015, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, and 2021 for 6 years. This is the process flow for NPS and NPS Light. PO Delhi is the principal PO. Every PO has to conduct the internal audit and they have to send the report to PO Delhi, and PO Delhi, after scrutinizing the same, to send to us, and then we will send it to PFRDA. For NPS All Citizen Model, PO Bengaluru is the nodal PO and it will conduct the audit and it will send to us and then we will forward it to to PFRDA. For Atal Pension Yojana, though it was not mandated, but as a precautionary measure because the money is involved, so we also mandated the monthly audit as well as the annual audit for Atal Pension Yojana also. And as per PFRDA, from next year onwards, we will have to submit the report to PFRDA also. Though we are doing right now also for the Atal Pension Yojana, we are doing the audit. We send the report for NPS Light, NPS ACM. For NPS Light, they have PFRDA had faced some issues. They were saying that it is to be sent half yearly, though we send annually. So we will have to send these reports again, and we will send the format whatever they have prescribed. They have made some changes in the prescribed format. They will give that format to us, and then we will send this format to the circle offices and we will need the reports on that revised format. Then only we can send it to the PFRD. So I would need your help and cooperation for sending the reports in revised format. And we'll send the report for NPS and NPS Lite. Some issues were pointed out by our team also. These are issues which are already discussed. Unreconciled balance not being posted or reconciled, submission of the report in bulk instead of a consolidated IAR by principal PO, delay in remittance of NPS contribution of the employees under NPS, issues of legacy matters in case of NPS like issues like PRAN numbers without nomination and mobile number, etc. Instances of delay in generation of PRAN numbers, pendency pertaining to non-IRA plans in different circles, return of inward funds by trustee banks, pendency in case of partial withdrawal cases, post authorization of online withdrawal. And these are the issues found out in the report. In some reports, annexure, the format of the annexure was changed, though it was prescribed format. So any PO should not change anything in the prescribed format. Now we will ask the report for NPS like in the revised format. There I am requesting you not to make any changes in the prescribed format. Whatever they are desiring, we should send the report in the same format, though we can make some observation according to the auditee. If they are making any observation, auditee team is saying something that we can record, but we cannot make any changes in the prescribed format. Other thing we have noticed that they made single consolidated report. If they're asking that annual report, then we should not send the consolidated report. We should give for every year, we should give the separate report. And if they're asking for half yearly report, now we have to send for half yearly only. Though you have to send this report for us monthly also, but for PFRD basis, PFRD, it is to be sent half yearly only. So it should not be sent consolidated. Some offices were sending the consolidated annexures for all the annexures they were consolidating. So it should be separate the annexures. If it is separate for NPS and NPS Lite, it should be separate. The data should be separate for all schemes. And other observations are there that annexures were not properly signed. Somewhere JSA were signing the reports. It is not proper. At least AO level officer should sign the reports, should sign those annexures. In case of Telangana, it has been found that all grievances being received manually must be entered in CGMS. Again, in case of DAP Punjab, reason for non-compliance of uploading of SCF on T+1 basis and clear funds transferred to trustee bank with T+1 days have not been mentioned. There was huge gap between DB figures and amount committed to NSDL. Mismatch was also found out between PO DB figure and total DB figure pertaining to actual subscription deducted from subscribers and amount remitted to NSDL. Mismatch was there between PO figures with NSDL figures pertaining to amount remitted. So, as the audit team, we not only have to record these issues, but we have to ask for the compliance also. Auditor has to ask for the compliance also, but we are not receiving any compliance on the issues raised by the audit teams. Every PO is working as audit team for their office, for their circle, but we are not getting any compliance on that wherever the gap is there. So compliance is also to be given to principal PO Delhi office, and then it will come to us. Now we come to report on the NPS ACM all citizen model. Here, lacks implementation of guidelines pertaining to fulfillment of the guidelines issued by PFRD, and there is huge scope for improvement in expanding the subscriber base. And also in Annexure 1, it has been observed that most of the information that has been sought has been flagged down with the remarks of no records available. So wherever the records, the remarks are very vague, somewhere it is written no records available, no, not applicable. So we should flag we should give the remarks very clear. It should be clear remarks. The information provided against the subject must be more detailed. Yes, no, or nay, and nay. It should be something. Issue of non-maintenance of quarterly compliance certificate by CPD Masood and Masood HO must be addressed for future submission of inspection reports. Status of withdrawal claims, post rejection of claims of CRA and subsequent rectification must be addressed. And non-maintenance of records registers pertaining to data of accounts opened, PRAN generated, PRAN not generated, contribution collected, regular and irregular transaction, etc. Issue of delay in fetching of details of contribution in MIS and in SCA files causing demands to the subscriber must be addressed. And issue of NPS refunds and non-traceability of the subscriber also should be addressed. And there is no mechanism to monitor minimum contribution by a subscriber, that is rupees 6,000 per annum, and levy a penalty, if any, on the subscriber if he fails to contribute the same amount, set amount. And there is grievance redressal mechanism, but it is not robust. That also should be more robust and effective now.
Contribution, I suspect it is deducted from the salary. It is not made by the.
For ACM, sir? No, sir.
Yeah.
For ACM.
Okay.
And now we come to issues pertaining to Atal Pension Yojana. The report lacks inclusion of reply of the auditee on the observation discrepancies as pointed out by the auditor, because whenever we go for the audit, but then we ask for their reply also, and it should be recorded. Then only it becomes a good report, audit report. But I found that in Atal Pension Yojana report, there was no remarks of the auditee, and there was no, it was non-inclusion of the reason of unposted amount and pendency of the cases notice. So reason also should be recorded in the audit report. For NP slide also, reason should be recorded. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Instructions after Nagpur conference have issued regarding audit, because PFRD, which basically that started is for except NPS, which the government scheme, all other three things are taken with non-government scheme by PFRD. And PFRD has got statutory conference. In 2016 or 18, PFRD has requested DOP to register itself as an agent of PFRD for the non-government schemes. That is NPS like APY and AC. Okay. There was some kind of confusion in about 2020. UP is registered itself as an agent of PFRDA for operating this scheme. Then PFRDA has invited us for a detailed discussion. They had several agendas. One of the agenda is of course registration. Secondly, we feel there should not be any register for registering because two of the schemes are commercial schemes, NPS scheme and APU. So far as NPS Life is concerned, they also created a non-government scheme, even though we don't get any revenue out of that. So far as UP is concerned, because we treat that as a scheme for the needies. So we register ourselves. Once we have registered, we will have to follow the guidelines of companies. One of the guidelines is monthly audit report from PAO. In fact, they insisted it has to be audited by a agency. We convinced them they have ability our system can audit, submit the audit report ours to them. To operationalize that, we have issued instructions. All the PAOs should audit and submit their audit report to principal PAO Delhi, which is the consolidating office of all accounts related activities or all NPS related schemes. So the PAO, how to do audit? They insisted for audit report from 2015-16 onwards. We have decided that whatever economic application, basic on the NSDL report, you review your account position and send your audit report on a monthly basis to principal PO Delhi. But for the past period, some people submitted it in consolidated manner like 15, 16, 16, 17. But we basically require annual audit report. Now, the report which comes from all POs on audit on a monthly basis will be reviewed at Delhi PO and submitted to headquarters for the scrutiny of the audit reports before it is transferred to PFRDA. As for the scheme, something has to be done on quarterly basis, something has to be done on bi-day. Half-yearly basis, something has to be done on annual basis. And interesting fact that this coordinated headquarter level, so far as audit is concerned, Express division handles APY and AC. NPS is handled by Ops division. And so far as NPS Life is concerned, now GDS division under DDG establishment has to put it stick together so that we can check. The other condition that PFRDA would put towards, there should be a compliance officer that we have decided DDG, Director Accounts Compliance Officer for all the schemes. Then there should be a public clearance officer to distribute the work. We decided Director Express will be the public clearance officer because we thought most of the clearance from ACM and APY. But later we realized clearance also comes from NPS subscribers and NPS Live subscribers. We will be regularizing that, how that clearance can be settled. So far as demand settlement is concerned, we will distribute the work between accounts, establishment, and FS. But complaints has to be submitted by the director account to the system authority that is paper. So all the complaints, whatever is submitted to paper has to be collected by director accounts from FS division and establishment division. Then you can submit a consolidated compliance report on a monthly basis, which they were telling it has been done in a very irregular manner. That compliance has to be effective. And audit report, which has been prepared by PO on the basis of the ground reality and the SBL monthly report has to be submitted PO every PO for all the schemes for their reconsideration and submission of their report to headquarters. So that we can forward to PFRDA to meet the company's requirement. Even though the things are handled in three different divisions at headquarters, we have to concentrate on this aspect and ensure that the compliance is submitted. Because for an external agency, DOP is a single entity. It may have different divisions dealing with the region, but DOP is a single entity. Now, compliance. Sorry. Now, so far as compliance is concerned, director accounts the only compliance officer at headquarters. Director accounts hands are carried unless we get compliance report from the circles. Now, this aspect we will delegate to the circles. Now, some of the DPSs are there, some of the BO heads are there. Now, you tell me who should be compliance officer for the circle. Running parallel to headquarters, I prefer it to be the concerned DM finance or DAP. Now, so far as APY and ACM is concerned, there are only two circles that are involved. One is Karnataka APY, that is the PAO, and another is Delhi circle or ACM, where Karnataka State Post Office is involved. For this, I also need compliance report from the circles. Like credit debit happens in one office, one post office, but scheme is operated on the circles. So that way, we will divide the mechanism, we will divide the reporting system, but compliance report, APY and ACM will also reach to director accounts daily from the different circles. Compliance report on four programs, NCA-F, right, APY, and AC. Director accounts the compliance officer. Then they have not told us you can take a confirmation for validating, we can change the compliance officer. FA will do the compliance for APY and ACM, then DDS section will do compliance for NPS line. Basically, if it is centralized in one place, coordination will do overstated. In any case, for all of those states, we will take compliance into the circles. Circle में PO head compliance officer बने, my idea. If you want India, their idea will implement that. Let this also be discussed at the committee. Compliance officer should be one point so that one-to-one interaction will be there. If there is some problem on some circle, some data, that can be collected from that circle. So far as public grievance is concerned, to my mind, DPS headquarters will be the public grievance officer for APY, ACM. NPS line is somewhere in between APY and the ACM and the NPS line should be compared by the PAO head. And if you establish the circle grievance committee under the chairmanship of CPMD with both PAO head and DPS as members, then everything will be discussed on the table. There will only be any report, compliance report can come PO and public grievance report, if any, reflected in the statistics itself from the NICF. And effective in that point of time, public grievance needs to be added, whether it is technical problem, whether it is return problem or equivalency, that the DPS can handle that.
For circle, compliance officer for NPS should be DPS report. Because I'm saying the very less role of PAO assistance can get 90%. And it is the DPS headquarters and then it gives the divisions and the divisions and get the budget.
No problem. This gives an extra
And circle of circle committee, as you said. So CPLG will be there heading the committee, the run circle committee, where PO and DPS are part of the. So that is okay. But from that, it's very good. So separate. So that looks to be logical as well. And circle, if so, my circle is handling to receive MPS and MPS side. Let the DPS headquarters handle the MPS side and we handling the MPS scheme.
I appreciate your idea, but we will have to share the wisdom with CPMD and DPS of all of them. We have not invited all the DPS to this house. In the next oversight committee meeting at circle level, all the circles are requested to decide who will be the public demands officer, who will be the compliance officer. Let all the circles come. Because CPMD has got no time to see the details except in the meeting. That will not realize. That way, how the reaction from the ground level can be consolidated at one point and discussed at circle level committee that let all the circles comment. Okay, you can implement it in April. This month, you conduct your oversight committee, and you have seen the requirement of compliance, you have seen the requirement of audit, and you have also seen on what basis you have to prepare audit report, and on what basis you have to go for the oversight committee agenda. We will be defining the oversight committee agenda, today's discussion and communicating it to you. We will expect all the services to respond to this proposal by this month, and so that the consolidated approval can be taken from government issue. That oversight committee is headed by ASIC, where I am a member. Then DDT FS is a member, DDT establishment is a member, and for kind of interaction with Ghitorni CPD, we will get an national member, DDT CPD also. So हमारे को शेयर करते शायद मान ले if it that sorry, this is the problem of white box. So basically what I mean, I want to highlight the role of oversight committee circle level. Whatever is the problem at ground level should be realized by CPMG, data provided by PO, as well as if you want compliance officer from particular ACM to be headed by NCA like to be headed by DPS, I don't have an objection. But he has to devise a mechanism of getting data. Whereas only NFDM sends the data to PO. So some kind of bridge between DPS and PO has to be established if you want DPS to be the compliance officer for others. That needs to be considered. You decided circle level. Majority of the circles, whatever is their opinion, they don't go by. But in any case, you are working in a team. Okay. Whether the compliance report is signed by PO head or DPS, DPS can involvement to get the things done in a different issue. But submitting a report is a different issue according to design. Basically, it has to be a complementary role, and without field, you cannot do anything. We are trying to bring in reforms in the NPS right field also, like introducing OPs, like whatever suggestion we got from Andhra Pradesh, if it can be done online itself, several things should be this. One of the most important aspects I want to tell you to review and report to us is if you see, they have told certain of the functions can be delegated to review. Now, large circles like UP or Tamil Nadu or Maharashtra, PO consolidating all the information and sending the report, If it can be delegated, some of the functions can be delegated specifically for redressal of grievance of the subscriber. Like in UP, if the subscriber is from Badra, to address, to send it letter and getting the information will take more than 1 month. If it can be done by Badra video itself, maybe some of the issues can be settled at the ground level itself. Otherwise, what will happen? If immediate working at Badra, they have to run to settle his grievance. That needs to be understood. You are having sufficient wisdom to see what are the things that can be delegated. Plant delegation. Plant delegation for NPA centralized PO. PO for Jammu Kashmir may be a small entity, but PO for Nagpur is a large entity. From one corner of the state to PO, it will take overnight journey. If that can be done offline, and which can be supervised in PO, we will also go for that scheme so that basically our objective is not to harass the beneficiary. Show sufficient concern to the beneficiaries, how it can be done. I would like to request all of you to conduct circle oversight committee within coming 10 days and give them suggestion how we can streamline the process. Difficulties are to be understood properly and solution has to be given. ये नहीं कि मैं अपना responsibility को share करना चाहता हूँ, वो अपना responsibility को share करना. Do a complementary role just within 2 months of afterwards. NSDM representatives came to me and appreciated the role of DOP. Improvement in DOP uploading within 2 months to the 90% level. And in fact, I'm happy to share with you this information. Uploading of collection amount data in NSDM system is best in DOP among the civil ministry. This has been done because of your contribution. 23 centers, 123 centers would have gone. Property, this would not have been achieved within 2 months. In fact, 2 years back, there was a CAG para, which may like to be a PhD para, we are addressing it. That all the issues they have highlighted, those things have read those CAG para, maybe we might have started the process of reforms. Sometimes 1 year back or 2 years back. Now we are understanding the gravity of the situation. Thanks to PFRDA, they have invited CAG for a detailed discussion, and we have realized what is our responsibility. Compliance is the responsibility of the sector. Initially, we started doing it at headquarters, but headquarters is a small system where it cannot convey the compliance factors of all the 23 circles spread throughout the country. Now, coming to audit. Basic responsibility of audit with respect to the data received from NSDM is the function of PAO. PAO is responsible for submitting its monthly audit report on the schemes to PAO Delhi, which is the nodal office which is principal PAO for all aspects of all of those schemes. Once that is done, now we have got the reaction from PFRDA. We have submitted our consolidated report, audit report for the past 5 years. Got the reaction, we will rectify at headquarters. Rectification would not be any measure unless the process is regularized and circulated. So whatever things we want to delegate to circle, we can do it on our own. It will be better if you sit at your headquarters, discuss with the DPS headquarters and CPMD to regularize. We have got one small presentation we could make for presentation. PAO Delhi. See, it is the principal PAO who accountability before Ministry of Finance, PFRDA, as well as NICF, is also very high. Let us listen to the opinion of Delhi PO. What are the difficulties they encounter in managing the principal PO?
Maybe quick announcement before the presentation. DG and NCF is hosting data that consider the performance by the voltage of 19 and 20 batch of IP caps. So on behalf of DG and NCF, I cordially invite all the seniors from DA Finance, DAP, and DPS kindly attend the data function at 7:30.
Good afternoon. Myself Kiran, Assistant Accounts Officer from GMF Delhi. GMF Delhi is the principal PO of NPS Lite and API related transactions. The functions of principal PO includes the monitoring authority who oversees NPS related works of all associated nodal officers to ensure compliance. We have access to NPS CAN and CRA NSGL, where some specific works are allotted to principal POs, such as view functions, including contribution file status, subscriber PO list, downloading of subscriber PO list, pre-unitization SOT, statement of transaction, etc. Also include contribution details. Some of that function include file status view, request authorization, then statement of transaction. Then there is error rectification module. Three types of error rectification modules are there. One is excess amount transferred to trustee bank, amount transferred to one brand to another brand, and redemption of non-NPS subscriber. All the authorization work are done by principal PO. Then include DDO shifting. Some functions are allotted to principal PO in the structure and streamlining process, which include maintenance of non-IR and uncredited plan without nomination data, pending exit cases, etc. And the GM Finance will be in constant touch with annuity service providers in coordination with PFRDA for timely issuance of subscribers. As well as they will have circle-wise data regarding unreconciled outstanding contribution in NPS Lite, APY, and NPS. These are the report to be submitted by GM Finance Delhi to DOP headquarters. First is MIS, which is a monthly report. Then compliance certificate, which is quarterly. Annexure 7, which is detail of NPS outstanding, which has to be sent monthly and annually. Then cyber security certificate, reporting of cyber security certificate, and internal audit. This is the NPS collection account overview, which has to be submitted both monthly and annually. In the month of January, from the following circles, we have not received this Annexure 7. Then one more work has to be allotted to GM Finance as a principal PO, that is mandatory internal audit of NPS and NPS Lite. At the end of each PO has to submit their internal audit report monthly as well as annually to principal PO, and principal PO in turn will submit to director IA, and director IA will in turn submit to director FS and director accounts. As per the OM, 4 report has to be submitted. That is Annexure 1, Annexure 2, Annexure 3, and Annexure 4. We have already conducted internal audit for the last 6 years, that is 2015-16 to 2020-21. Now we are conducting inspection for from April 2021 to December 2021. And in most of the cases, we have received the report from the POs, but in some cases, we have not received the annexures. So all annexures has to be submitted, but some POs has not annexures. These are the basic records to be maintained as per the structure and streamlining issued by DOP headquarters. That is broadsheet, register of unposted item, register of claim ID generated, ERM register, and grievance register. For NPS Lite also, there should be a broadsheet, unposted item. There should be an unreconciled amount, register for unreconciled amount, upload data register, backup data register, SDBS 2, 4, and 5 register, claim register, ERM register, etc. Although some of the POs have submitted the report, some of the annexures are pending with the POs. The same has to be submitted so that we can in turn submit to DOP headquarters. While verifying this annexure 3 of some of the POs, it has found that some of the mandatory registers are not being maintained. This has to be maintained, and a complaint has to be given by the 13th April. In NPS Lite also, it has been found out that some of the registers are not being maintained by POs. At the end of each month, the amount collected from the subscriber has to be accounted in 0071, and a check has to be sent to the NSDL. So at the end of the month, the amount should be 0 in the head of account 0071. But it is seen that some amount are pending in NPS head of account as well as in NPS Lite. This is mainly due to non-generation of brand as well as incorrect booking. This is the status of NPS Lite. The internal audit report of January 22, which is being going on, and some of the officers have submitted the report, but majority of officers have not yet submitted the report. Thank you. So I have just one more regarding our oversight committee.
You are sort of oversight.
Yes, yes, yes. Sir.
So,
Okay.
The basic purpose of organizing this workshop combining with EPSs is to make the system understand what is the basic issue, where it's default. What I suggest, one process auditing can be done by PFIA and HSPA. Initially at Delhi Circle, and then we can go to other circles, but then the process followed by the circle is appropriate or need any improvement. We can, after that, we can switch over to major circles like UP, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, etc. And during that phase, let them do process auditing and suggest whose door, where is the failure, how it can be improved. And parallelly, we can organize training of the ground level stakeholders to improve the system. Once that is done, hopefully by next year, by this time, DOP may be the best NPS managing department. Thank you very much. We are expecting additional security and FA with the effect of society committee at headquarters. And member 3, DOP headquarters also serving the school, join research for validation. In that campaign,
Other aspect, our own person. Yes. Always be in the it's getting. Here they are not.
Really, welcome to the validation of the today workshop on management of NPS, NPS Live, APY, and NPS for citizens entry model. I would like to request DG and NCA, she become honest, sir. Kindly welcome AS and FPDP, she is Pula Sir. This kindly welcome member B, she is survey. I would request senior DG, EF, CGF participant for the validation report.
Esteemed ASFA, dear member P, UP headquarters, DG and NICF participants. In fact, I feel it's a fruitful day. We have understood the basic dynamics of management of NPS and NPS Live. Sir, if you remember, some 6 months back, during Corona period, we organized a VC on basic issues that is encountered by specifically the passing away employees on NPS. We have made a detailed analysis. Some improvements started from there, and sometimes in September last year, Chairman PFRDA has invited Secretary Post, who had gone along with his team to discuss the basic issues encountered by DOP. And on the basis of the discussion held there, we started to bring in certain changes which has yielded good result. And in order to reiterate the decision taken, rather the commitment given by Secretary P to PFRDA chairman, we organized a workshop at Nagpur and we have seen the improvement after Nagpur. Last month, NSDL representatives visited me and they have told DOP stands at the top of amongst all civil ministries in uploading data, which has crossed 90% now. So basically, uploading data is being carried out by DAPs, but on the basis of the information that is received from the ground level. We have improved that, but 90% is maybe good. But unless we reach a level of 100%, the management has got some issues which need to be addressed. Similarly, if you remember during last oversight committee meeting, we have identified the issue of non-generation of PRAN. And that is also improving. All the circles, they have established the oversight committee at circle level. We are getting the reports also. Chairman being the CPMG, both DPS headquarters and IFA are members. We have to bring it down to the ground level. We have also requested to organize oversight committees at regional level under the chairmanship of PMG. The regional level oversight committee should meet once in a month and submit its report to circle. The circle oversight committee should meet once in 2 months, and at headquarters we will meet at quarterly basis. We have got some reports which we will be discussing at headquarter level oversight committee during this month itself in accordance to the directions from Ministry of Finance. The basic issue that we address today is bridging the communication gap between operation and accounts, specifically in terms of the responsibility of entities at circle and at headquarter level for compliance. Last time when we discussed with PFRDA, they said the compliance should be given by one single entity, but today they have agreed different schemes can have different compliance officers. Like at headquarters, we handle NPS by DDG accounts, NPS Lite by DDG establishment, and APOI as well ACF is being handled by FS division, by DDG, this thing. Initially, we thought we will give compliance from one table so that it can be a consolidated report. But now they have agreed to decentralize, rather distribute the work. We will be discussing with the stakeholders at headquarters and we will organize that. Second thing, the oversight committee at circle level is activated. But one thing that I could feel after today's discussion is agenda for oversight committee has not been defined by headquarters. That we will do during this month itself after the oversight committee. Otherwise, it will be a kind of platform to discuss the statistics. The problems will remain, statistics will not solve the issue. So that we will be issuing instruction how the oversight committee at circle level will review the cases, review the issues pending at ground level on the basis of the report that they get every month from NSDL. And one of the other issue that was the agenda of PFRDA is audit. They wanted an external agency to audit the scheme and submit the report independent to PFRDA. But during secretary's meeting, we could convince them our system is being audited by C&AG and we have our internal audit system. So we will audit our records and submit audit report to you. We have specifically asked them to permit us that our internal audit system will report audit report. That also we have discussed. And we will be regularizing that after next oversight committee meeting at headquarters. For last 5 years, DOP was not a registered agency with PFRDA for all the scheme commercials. We got registered after last discussion. And our audit report will also be coordinated accordingly. They have pointed out, we have submitted audit report for the past 5 years. They've given their comment on that, and we will be improving while submitting the audit report for the current financial year. And we will also revise the audit report for the past 5 years. That everybody got we will be doing that. Role of principal PAO, which is Delhi PAO, has been defined, and principal PAO is doing its job, but principal PAO cannot function appropriately unless he gets sufficient support from the field units. That we will also be reiterating our earlier order, the role of principal PAO, what record principal PAO will submit to headquarters before it is transmitted to PFRDA. And basically, NSDL has shown the statistics, which has really opened our eyes. Now, in the circle oversight committee, they will be concentrating on the monthly report they get from NSDL and the audit report that the POs will generate. And basically, our objective was to create an environment of complementary approach to each other, specifically at circle headquarter level, so that the issues that are pending as on date can be settled hopefully within 6 months' time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your very excellent address on the election report. Now I will request DJ and actually we can find us. Yes.
Respected ASF sir, Sri Anil Naik sir, my esteemed friends, EDP, and senior DDGPAF, ISAF, all the senior officers who are here. As I mentioned in the morning, this was indeed a historic moment for us to integrate with the Postal Department, where for the first time, Training Institute NICF organized a workshop at the Postal Department. So thanks for that to the Secretary. With the new infrastructure in our hand in few days, we'll be able to also take up such kind of activities. Department of Posts for our officers also who are working in the Department of Posts. So the focus will be balanced for both telecom and Department of Post. As far as this today's deliberation is concerned, it was an eye-opener even for me. The way the discussions took place, the way the presentations were made by PFRDA or NSDL and the specialists, experts in this field, plus the PAOs also. It is an eye-opener for us, and also it sets a standard for me also, that the next training which I will be organizing, I have to match this standard. So Parisab has made my job very difficult also, setting a very high standard which I have to match in future. Sir, it was a very, very intense day. He was sitting throughout the day, senior DG, and the way he reviewed the performances of all the PO offices, it is something we have to also see how he's a hard taskmaster. He proved it today itself. So as far as the NICF is concerned, we are very happy to organize this event. The learning takes place when we meet. When the diverse groups they meet, there are Director of Postal Services, DPS also, they have come. From operation side, POs also, then our own officers, our own professionals also. So I personally have a satisfaction at the end of the day that I can say that you have made my day. So thank you very much. Thank you, sir, for coming. Thank you, VP, for joining here. Thanks.
Thank you, sir, for your address. Yeah, NICF will try to make the works and implement it in action. Now, I would request member B, Shri sir, the address. Thanks.
Good evening, everybody. It's indeed a great pleasure for me to be here amongst all of you. And first of all, on behalf of the Department of Posts, I'll compliment NICF for organizing such a workshop. I think this is first of its kind, where the officers from operations and finance accounts are meeting in one forum. And the subject of the workshop, Padisab, I think, and ASFA, that NPS is definitely a very, very important area where we must try to plug all the loose ends, and we must try to focus on timely registration of the subscribers in the scheme, whosoever are eligible. And we should also try to ensure that the contributions which are collected, they are transferred timely to the trustee bank. And we should also try to ensure that the exit cases are also processed expeditiously without any glitch, without any, harassment to the subscribers. And as I keep telling everyone that one day everybody will retire. So we must understand with empathy the plight of a pensioner. So whatever grievances we face in this scheme, we should try to address them. We should try to, develop some kind of FAQ for the new pension scheme for the departmental employees. This may be a little different from the normal FAQs which PFRD might have designed. So we must work on that. And I don't know whether it will be relevant or it will be too premature, but some typical case studies will also be taken up. Some POs can be made responsible for designing some case studies which could be used for training our staff in the POs and the operations side. Because we sit here as officer, senior level people, we understand everything, but we should also try to understand that the capacity building at the lower level may not be as good as we feel equipped at our level. So we must try to have good training capsules. Some videos can be prepared which our employees can watch at their leisure, how to go about in handling the NPS and NPS light cases. And just I could sense that NPS light is being handled by establishment division, if I'm correct, because this was started when I was DD establishment long back. But I do remember that Mr. Manish Kumar, who was DDG PF at that time, we had a meeting. So I believe that handling of this NPS light is also majorly done by PAOs. Their role is still there. So I understand that if there are issues about NPS light, they should also be taken as seriously as we are talking of NPS. Because Gramin Dot Savers, I'll say, count almost 50% of the HR strength of the Department of Posts. So if they are really facing problems in NPS light, service discharge benefit scheme, which we call in other words, so that should also be addressed and that should also receive our serious attention. Because, they are the most, I'll say, undereducated lot in the department. So, and they are located in far-flung areas where nobody is there to listen to them. So at PO level, at the circle level, at the regional level, we must try to address their concerns also. And as Mr. Padi was mentioning that we don't have fixed agenda for oversight committee. So it's good that the chair of the oversight committee, the department is also very much present in this meeting, in this workshop valediction. So I think that we should try to work out proper agenda items which may be made compulsory for discussion in every meeting. Plus, always we have one item with the permission of the chair at the end of the meeting. So I think oversight committee can be a very effective and good tool to handle all the issues which crop up in the field and which crop up at the policy level. So I hope that the deliberations of this workshop today have been quite engaging. Party Saab, Panda Saab, and all the officers who have, I think, who came from the party and maybe NSTL, CRA. So I hope that the learnings, the takeaways from this workshop will help us a lot in improving the things in the field. With these words, I wish everyone all the very best for improving this scheme further in the field. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging words. Now, I would request Chief Guest and Sri Anil Kumar Naik, sir, kindly address the.
Facing sir, Senior TDCPF, Padi sir, TC NICF, Panda sir, senior friends from TPS and DAPs, friends from PFRDA, friends from NSTM, आप सबको नमस्कार. At the outset, I must thank you all for giving me this opportunity to be part of this program. I must congratulate Mr. Padi and Mr. Panda for taking this initiative to organize this day-long workshop on NPS and NPS Lite, because there are few issues of implementation which are attracting attention at different levels. In fact, we have a CAG para on NPS. There are about, I think, 25 unposted amounts. So, number of cases are there where the pension contribution has been deducted from the officer for subscribing, but it is not remitted and deposited in his account. This is primarily due to non-generation of grant. Why this is happening, there could be many reasons. It could be lack of timely action from DOP and DPS. It could be lack of effective monitoring from account side, DAP side. So it is not really time to engage in any blame game. We have to sit together, identify the problem areas, the loose ends which are to be tied out, and set right this matter. I think this workshop was a much needed initiative that has been done, that has been organized. I'm sure you must have, in the course of the deliberations, presentations, identified the problem areas, and you must have agreed on some standard drill, how to address the issues, how to ensure that this kind of thing doesn't happen. You see, the Department of Post is primarily a public service organization. Here we are supposed to provide the quality service to public in general. If we cannot provide hassle-free service to our own employees, what we can outside us. So I think charity must begin at home. We must set our house in order right away. I'm sure this workshop you must have had productive deliberations, discussions. And one thing that Mr. Padi pointed out about this regional oversight committee. I think that would go a long way in ensuring effective monitoring and stock taking at regional level. I happen to be the chairman of the oversight committee at DOP. It never occurred to me that we should have a regional oversight committee. It is good that you could come out with this idea. So this should be implemented. I hope with this workshop and the deliberations that you had, we would be able to reduce cases. In fact, bring these instances to zero where pension contributions are deducted from subscribers but not credited. It should be brought down to zero. So, since people from operations side as well as from finance and account side are present here, I thought I would share one of my thoughts with you. This is about the relative role and responsibility of people in the operation side and people in finance and accounts way. You see, people who are working in operations, for them the priority is to get the things done. If you tell them about rules, procedures, they will feel constrained. They will be a little irritated. For them, the priority is how to get the work done. For people in finance and account side, the primary mandate is to see that the government money, that is taxpayers' money, is spent for the purpose it is intended to be spent. And it is spent in a manner which is right and which is transparent. So you have to add this has to be as per the rules, regulations, accounting procedure. You have to be very particular about it. But that doesn't mean that you would get bogged down with rules and procedures, forget the larger picture, and do something which doesn't enable the department to achieve its objectives, primary objectives. You shouldn't do anything to upset the applicant. But in your enthusiasm to be result-oriented, to be purposive, you should never forget your primary responsibility. You should never step into the shoes of the operation man. You should always remember what is your primary responsibility. Okay, so that is to ensure transparency. That is to see that procedures are followed. So within that framework, try to be helpful, try to be purposive. So with these words, I once again congratulate Mr. Padi and Mr. Panda for organizing this workshop. I also congratulate all the participants who have spent the day here in pressing the issues and finding ways and means how to improve the system. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your deep thoughts and raising books. Now, I would request Rosemary ma'am give the this for put up hands and validation.
Good evening, everyone. Respected sir, especially the Anil Kumar Nayak sir, DG NICF, Vikanda Panda sir, Senior DDG PK Pachi sir, DDG Avai sir, and all the respected delegates here today. It is an honor for me to give the vote of thanks on this occasion. At the outset, I extend my gratitude to our honorable chief guest in the morning, CG Post, Sri Anil Kumar sir, taking our time to make schedule and ready to talk The agreement comes present and advise that circle officers and PO officers work together and go hand in hand in the implementation of the schemes. And here this is especially to the point. I thank the respected member force, respected ASF reserve for honoring us with the presence, for validating, sharing your insights. Special thanks to respected VP sir, sir, for providing immense help and supporting organizing this workshop. And indeed, it is a wonderful beginning to many more collaborators of this kind in the new departments. Thank you for that, sir. And importantly, must thank the man of the workshop, sir, for his vision, guidance, is realigning the NICF implementation and all the other aspects in working with the PA offices. I also thank the teams from PFRDA and also NSTL, NSTL, for the presentation and clarification in the number of aspects in implementation of the NCS. Special mention to the organizing team of NICF, led by Ghitorni sir, for the tremendous efforts in ensuring this product workshop. Last but not least, I thank all the delegates, the GM sirs, CPS headquarters and directors, CPA or PAP officers, who had active participation have made the workshop a tremendous success. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. With permission of the chair, I would like to have a successful conclusion of this workshop. Yes. Thank you, sir. Many years I have announced earlier. The DG and NICF is mostly a data and a cultural performance by our OPs of 2019 and 20 batch, which will start from 7:30 or 7:30 p.m. onwards. So once again, I cordially invite all the delegates and all the participants kindly attend the meeting. Sorry, the mistake has been made.